I find it interesting that for two of the biggest things in our lives, having kids and being married, we really aren't taught how to do it. In fact, most of us don't really pursue any education on how to get better at them either. Now, of course, you're watching this video, so it may not apply to you. But for the hundreds of millions of other men, do we take parenting classes? Do we invest in ourselves so that we can be better in our marriage? Not typically, but maybe we should. I want to thank you for being proactive, for educating yourself and wanting to do something about it. You're one of the few men who have chosen to do so. I think we can all learn so much to improve our families. And whether that's improving our parenting or our marriage, there's just a lot for us to learn. In this video, we're going over some very important relationship advice for men. We're going to learn some tips that may save your marriage from divorce. Hey guys, I'm Jason Kreidman and welcome to another episode of Dad University. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and click on that notification bell. Also, it really helps us spread our message when you share these videos. So maybe you know a couple people that might enjoy it. Please share it with them. Today's video is all about improving your marriage. And I've got something really special for you guys. Check it out. What if you were shown exactly how to ignite the passion and excitement in the woman that you love? What if you could feel like her husband or lover instead of her roommate? Or you could get her to admire, respect, and appreciate you. On this channel, I've spoken about my mother, Dr. Ellen Kreidman, and her work as a best-selling author and seminar speaker on relationships. She was called America's #1 love expert, or the fairy godmother of relationships. She was pretty good at this stuff. Well, she created this audio course called Light Her Fire. Sells every day for $139. Which is actually a lot cheaper than a divorce. Comes with 12 CDs and a workbook. However, as part of the Dad University community, I want to offer you 50% off of this program. Go to daduniversity.com/lightherfire, use the coupon code JASON, and get half off. Invest in yourself, invest in your relationship. This information is priceless, I promise you. I've got 5 pieces of relationship advice that I want to share with you today. These are all things that have positively impacted my own marriage, and I feel like they can help you too. Number 1, understand why a woman falls in love. A woman falls in love because of the way that she feels when she is with you. Whether it's smarter, sexier, prettier, more confident, more capable, doesn't matter. It's how she feels when she is with you. It's not about you. It's how she feels when she is with you. When she no longer feels that way, that's when the breakup happens. In fact, cheating is often just that. It's not that she's in love with the other person. She's in love with how she feels when she's with that other person. When a woman feels sexy, smart, and confident, you will get back all the love, devotion, and affection that you desire. Recall when you first fell in love. Did she feel better about herself when she was with you then than she does now? I mean, we're all responsible for our own feelings, and we can go into that, but as our partner, it's important for us to help lift somebody up and especially to help them feel good when they're around us. So stop thinking about yourself for a second and think about her. Think about making her feel good when she's around you. That's what's important. Number 2, stop complaining. Nobody likes a complainer. You know, we complain because we think that it might make us feel better, and maybe there's a little bit of a release when we complain, but you know, as a recovering complainer, I consider myself an expert in this area. I don't think that's actually a good thing, but I'm a recovering complainer. And what I learned, and this is very important, is that complaining doesn't solve any problem. It doesn't fix any problem. It doesn't make anything better. It's just complaining. Even if you are complaining to the person that can actually do something about it, and usually we don't do that, it doesn't really motivate them to do anything. In fact, most of the time though, we complain about something or someone to a person that really can't do anything about it. You might complain to your wife about your work or your friends, but what can she do about it? If you're complaining about your wife or a situation with your wife, complaining about it is not going to certainly motivate her to do anything. If it's something that you can control, stop complaining and do something about it. If it's something that you can't control, stop complaining because the complaining's not going to fix it. You then have to find a different way to approach it. Either way, the complaining doesn't do anything. Number 3, men are physical, women are psychological. If her emotional needs are not met, she's not going to respond to you physically. And we're the exact opposite. We have trouble responding emotionally unless our physical needs are met. And so as the man, you have to understand this. If you want her to respond to you physically, you have to fulfill her emotional needs. She wants your attention. She wants you to be kind. She wants you to care. She wants to feel appreciated. If you do those things, then she will be much more receptive to you physically. The problem with most men is that we interact with women the way that we want to be interacted with. And that just doesn't work. You have to satisfy her emotional needs if you want her to respond physically. She will often determine if she wants to be physical by what happens way earlier. Did you kiss her goodbye in the morning and say, "I love you"? Did you text message her and tell her that you were just thinking of her or that you really appreciated her? Did you make some plan for you guys to go out on a date or just to sit and talk later? These are the things that fulfill her emotional needs. And in order for her to respond physically, her emotional needs have to be met. It's important to remember that you do these things because you know that they have meaning for her. It's something that makes her feel good. If you have any other motive other than making her feel good, it's not going to work. I promise. Number 4, focus on the positive. If you've watched other videos on this channel, you know that I talk a lot about gratitude. And focusing on the positive is just another way of practicing gratitude. As it relates to your relationship or your marriage, it means looking at your partner's negative stuff and instead looking at it as a positive. Let me give you some examples. She can never sit still. Instead, say, "She has so much energy." She talks too much. Instead, say, "She's so friendly and puts everyone at ease." She has to plan everything. Instead, say, "She's so organized." I know you might be saying, "Jason, there is no way that I can look at my wife's negative stuff and think of it as a positive." And I understand that this is difficult. So we're gonna dive a little bit deeper. So stick with me here. We're going on a journey. If you are getting annoyed, angry, upset, whatever, it's your fault. We get to decide how we feel. So if you're getting annoyed at something that your wife's doing, you actually make the decision to be annoyed. If you get angry, you actually are making the decision to get angry. And sometimes it might not feel like that, but we've got all kinds of videos talking about how we make decisions about how we feel. You get to choose whether you want to focus on the negative or the positive. If you want a divorce, then focus on the negative. But if you want to be in a loving, fulfilling, fun relationship, then you're going to have to learn how to focus on the positive. Next, we come to relationship advice tip number 5, take responsibility for your own actions. I don't think I've ever heard, male or female, somebody that's on the brink of divorce or has been divorced recently, who has taken complete responsibility for the problems. You don't really hear someone say, I was just jealous, I was a jerk, I was too controlling, I caused so much heartache in them. Usually you hear, oh, she did this or she did that, or I just couldn't stand the way that she whatever. It isn't until long after a divorce that somebody can possibly look back and see their part in it. But for the most part, we just don't take responsibility for our own actions in the relationship. We are always good at blaming the other person. And that's because it's really hard. I mean really hard to look within and see our faults. To dive in and realize that we are responsible for the problem or that we could have done something differently. It's a very difficult thing to do. It's a lot easier to blame somebody else. We stop right there instead of actually looking within and seeing our own faults. And so that's something that we need to work on. We have to take responsibility for our own actions and realize when we are wrong. And one of the biggest problems is that we often don't even see that we could be at fault or how we're at fault. We're typically blind to it. And it's so easy when we're in a relationship to blame the other person. They're right there. We can explain why they're wrong and what they did and all these other things to blame the other person. But we have to look within. We have to look at it from their perspective and see what is our part in the problem. We have to take responsibility for our own actions. You have to stop blaming. And when you do stop blaming and you take responsibility for your own actions, the dynamic of your relationship will change and your marriage will improve. This takes effort, and it's not something that necessarily happens overnight, but it can happen. You can have the relationship and marriage that you want. I'd love to hear from you. What is the best piece of relationship advice that you have ever received? Leave your feedback in the comment section below. Also, don't forget the Light Her Fire course is 50% off for a limited time. Go to daduniversity.com/lightherfire and put in that coupon code Jason. If you found this video helpful, you don't want to miss what we have for you in our other videos. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and click on that notification bell. Also, if you know a couple people that might enjoy this, please share it with them. We'll see you next time.